Okay, good afternoon. I'm here again to show you the wire bending for the wire components of the circumferential retainer. I will start first with the upper arch, and then I will on the second video I will try to video again the lower arch wire bending for the wire components of the circumferential retainers. Okay, but first, before we do the wire bending activity, let me show you the outline of the wires that has to be placed. You can use pencil on the casts. Okay, and then you see the wire component will start from the last molar, and then the loop will be formed, and then horizontal component of the wire, loop again, and then the wires will reach the posterior or the very back part of the molar, okay, until it reaches here on the lingual component or the palatal component. Okay, and then after you outline or the desired casts, you have to get your wire. The ideal wire for the circumferential retainer would be, especially for the labial bow, would be 0.32. But for the purpose of for the purpose of demonstrating wire bending, the wire should be a little bit more stiffer, because if the wire is longer, it becomes more softer, no? So we have to make sure that the wires that you are using is a little bit stiff, especially if it's from molar to molar. So I recommend, for the purpose of using the labial bow, for what kind of wire that you're going to use, I suggest that you use the 0.036 for this purpose, you know, so that you make the labial bow more stiffer. So I'll start with the wire bending already. I have my wire and my 139. As you can see, I will start from one end to the other end, and then once I start on the palatal here, the bend will be coming from the palatal towards the back of the last molar. And then mind you that the horizontal component of this part of the buccal component should not be straight. It has to be scallop, following the curvature of the posterior teeth until it reaches the middle of the premolar and the canine. It has to be rounded, or you form the loop there, and then for the anterior horizontal component of the labial bow, it has to be straight. And then once you go back again to the posterior, it has to be scallop, or following the contours of the posterior. So I'll show you now how it's done. I'll just focus my camera. Okay. So first, you have to form the loop at the back. Okay. After forming the loop, wait, I'll just focus a little more of the camera. Okay. And then I have to see if the loop is appropriate already for the posterior portion. To make some adjustment as well. Okay, and then after which I have to get my marker so that I can make the necessary bend, where I will have to turn my wire at the back portion of the last molar. And then after which, you just have to make sure that you are marking the area where you will try to turn the wire bending. Okay, so you have turned a little more. You're trying to turn the wire at the corners. Just a little more practice, if you have having a hard time in wire bending. Wire bending is the talent for wire bending is usually done with practice. It is not an overnight talent that you learn. It takes some time and patience, and of course understanding of the people around you, no? Okay. So there's the wires at the back already has been formed. All you need to do, make the scallop. Okay, you always mark where the area you want to turn the wire. I'm just making some of the refinement in the wire bending. Okay, and then I will try to mark the area where I will try to make the turn. Okay, but before I mark, I will make 2 marks here, so that I will bend the one that has been formed away from the first mark that I made. This will be in an indication that this will be the bend that will be going through the embrasures. Okay, and then the first wire will be the ones going to be bending inside the embrasures. So for the second mark, I will try to make it outward. For the first mark, I will try to make it inward. Okay, so you can see there's a little bit indentations towards the embrasure. That's fine. And then you go now to the marking again. 2 markings. The first marking near the tooth, the second marking away from the tooth. This will be the second bend. We'll try to bend the wire outward. That will be conforming the embrasures. The first mark will be for the bending inside to make the round or hugging effect for the tooth. Okay, so first you have to make sure that you have to make the bending away for the second mark that indicates the wire that will be outlining the embrasures, and then the second wire towards inside, second mark. Okay, and then here, if you can see in the camera, the mark is being placed already. Okay, it's fine. And then you try to make sure that they are hugging. And then you again put the mark, the first mark near the tooth, and then the second mark away. And then for the second mark, you have to bend it outward. For the first mark, you have to make sure that you have to bend it inward. Okay, and then if you need more bendings, you do it so that the wires will be accentuating or hugging the said area. It takes a lot of patience when you do the wire bending component of the circumferential. You don't have to be angry, things is very hard, especially for this wire. I'm using the 0.040 for the purpose of wire bending. As I've said, the ideal wire for this is 0.032, but to be safe, so that the wires will not become more flexible, you have to use the 0.036. Okay, and then I hope the camera will capture this. It's the hugging effect. And then again, you do the same for the premolar, the first one, the first mark, and the second mark, which is away. Always do the bending away first, the second mark, and then on the first mark, you do the bending towards inside. This will give you a more ability to see that the wires are hugging to each other, no? Okay, wait, I'll just make some adjustments in here. Okay. Now, once the wire in the posterior has been hugging, there's a scalloped effect there. Okay. What you will do, then once the wire have reached already the first premolar, you do the same banana, no? Until the wire will have the hugging effect. You put the mark there, first and second. First, the second. It has to be outward, but make sure that you have to make the wire, okay, go up, because this will be the ones forming the vertical component of the loop. And then for the second wire, you have to bend the wire inside. Okay, so there's a hugging effect already. I hope you can appreciate that in the camera. And then after that, just like the same rule in making the loop vertical, the vertical loop that is supposed to be found between the first premolar and the canine. Okay, and then the height would be determined by the wire being turned to make the loop there 2 to 3 millimeters above the cervical portion of the canine. Okay, and then finally make the loop turn already. See? I hope I can just do this within 15 minutes, no? Because if the video will take you around 30 minutes, viewers or students will not be able to appreciate it anymore. You want a short video on how to do it. Okay? And then, again, make the mark in order to make the horizontal bend already across the anterior portion. I hope someday my children will get the skills also of these things, you know. But I'm not banking too much, because these skills will take a lot of patience, you know, if they like to do the wire bending. Nowadays, nobody wants to do wire bending anymore. It's just like an instant noodle. They wanted to have an instant wire bending ready. Okay? And then, see? It's there in the middle of the canine already. So, I have to make some twisting to make the wire conform to the labial curvature of the anterior. Just bear with me, it's not easy to do this. I always promise my students I will do a more good or better video presentation for the wire bending, but I guess they will understand me. He's an amateur videographer, okay? I have to improve also my craft, just like wire bending. Okay? So I made already the configuration around the inside the anterior. And then now I will make already the vertical component. Okay, then I will mark already the middle of the canine so that I will make the vertical turn already. Okay, and then after that, since I'm doing already the vertical wire bend, oops, there's something wrong, there's a distortion. Okay, bear with me. It's not easy to make retainers like this. Takes a lot of talent as well, no? Okay, so you have this already, this vertical component, horizontal, I mean, the horizontal component. And then I will now make a mark in order to make the loop. It's 2 to 3 millimeters. The height of this loop is 2 to 3 millimeters above the cervical portion of the canine. I hope the camera will capture this. And then I will make already the turn. And then now I will try again to fit. Always try to make sure that it has to be fitted well, so that the wire components, you will see where the wire component is fitted well or not. Okay, okay. Bear in mind that wire bending is not easy, no? This is purely for instructional materials only. Okay, wait. See? And then there, magic. And then the wire, the downward vertical loop, the other component of the loop lies already between the canine and the first premolar. So what you will do already, put a bend already on the horizontal part, on the other part, to make the horizontal bend for the posterior. Okay? And then once the horizontal loop is horizontal component has been bended already, you try to make sure that if it is fitted well in the cast. It's not easy, no? It's not easy. There. See? There na? Okay. I'm just manipulating the torque here. Even if it's round, it's very hard to control. Hard wires, if you're dealing with hard wires, it's very hard to control the torque because it's round, you know? Usually your hands slip or the wires slip your fingers. So you have to make sure that you have to guard your arms as well. So you make some controls on the specific area of the wires. Okay? And then I will try to make the turns already, the ones that I've been telling you, the first mark and the second mark. Okay? And then always make sure that you bend the first mark at the second mark, and then you followed by the second mark already. I don't know. Nobody's appreciating my what we're doing here, but this is purely for instructional material and purely for my students. Okay? This is for my students in orthodontics 1. Okay? There. I've already made the loop component. As I've said, I hope I can finish it within 15 minutes now. Okay, so I'm always making sure that it's going to be the wire components are possibly touching the tooth. I'm making it sure that it's possibly touching the tooth by making some torque within my hand, using my hands towards the wire. I hope this will be my legacy for orthodontics 1, ano? Tell them that you appreciate people making things like this for the sake of the learning purposes for their students, ano? Okay, and then I continue to make the first mark and the second mark, the one that I've been telling you. Always, if you do make the 2 marks already, you bend the outside, the first, the second mark, which is going to be away, and then the first mark towards you, meaning to say towards the embouchures. Okay, there. Okay, and then finally I will again make some mark for the molars, 2 marks again. The second mark, which is away, bend it, the wire away from you, and then the first one towards you, to create some hugging effect on the two surfaces of the cast. See? Okay, I will come up already with the bend towards my molar at the back. There. And then since I am predicting this wire is so long that it will try to interfere with the bending on the final end, I will already make some cuts already on this particular area. Okay, watch out, it might again make some. Okay, and then make some make the wire go away. I mean, will try to be thrown away. So we wanted to prevent that again. Make sure that they are hugging the wires, wire component, especially the labial bow, are hugging the tooth. So I will try to make the mark already again. Make sure that the wires are really hugging, possibly the tooth or the teeth, the set of teeth that is there in the cast. See? And then I will try to make already the bend, as I have promised my students in orthodontics 1 this semester. I will make a video presentation for this one. I will upload it for them, purely for them alone, no? any copy of this one. It's not my concern anymore, but as long as I have already imparted shown how things are done through my own demonstration, no? Okay, finish. Okay. It's the label component. See, I hope I have done it in a short period of time. Oop! And then, see, it's flying. Okay, so that. Oh, without it touching already, it's a magic. No, it's just like ninja. Okay, I remove that label components. I will now show you how to make the occlusal rest. Occlusal rests are just wire that you place on the groove, lingual groove of the first molar, just to make a break of the area. Not break, but to shorten the area between the wires, so that the labial bow will not break once the patient will keep on using it. Okay, so I'll cut approximately 1.5 inch of most probably 0.028. If not, I will get a much thinner wire, can be ranging from 0.022 or 20, but I have in my possession 0.020, and then I will just wire bend it there, and then it will conform to the lingual component of the here of the labial. See, it's too long, so again I have to cut it off and then make some bends later on again for the loops that will try to engage your okay. There, finish. Just like putting a wire already there. Wait, I'll just oops. Just like eating peanuts already, doing this procedure. See? There, finish. Simple as that. Okay, do again the other way, the other component, probably 1 inch, 1.5 inch, and then put a bend na lang at the back first, and then you try to make sure that you try to make the bend over there for the loop in order to engage the acrylic, and then you try to make the mark where you will try to bend over the lingual groove of the molar, and then cut the excess wire. Most probably it will form it like this, and then you try to put it there on lingual components. Okay, lingual groove there, voila. And then I will just already put this labial bow. Okay, make sure that you make the labial bow properly, and then you can now execute putting your separating medium, and most probably put your acrylic already. Finish. Okay, and then final product, just put already your acrylic portion. Okay, that will end up for the maxillary arch for the circumferential retainer.